This is live. It's like a spreadsheet calculated on the fly, actually. And I have add. See, these are buttons up here: subtract, multiply, divide, modulus, and or, and exclusive or. And we have them in base 10 and base 16. Let's try, let's say, multiply in base 16. This all comes in as base 16. So all this data here in the green and white is calculated on the fly, and columns are labeled, rows are labeled, and I'm going to show you how to do this in JavaScript with the web languages, CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. Currently I'm in Chrome. How did I do this? Yeah, we can do the other functions in base 16. Yeah, notice this 10 right here. That's actually 16 and not 10. And this is 32, not 20. This is 48. Yeah, it gets confusing after a while. But you can see it's two columns away, and the same thing is true the other way. Yeah, you got 10, 18, 10, 20, 30. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get into it. So here, let's give a rundown of this single file spreadsheet. Yeah, you can put it all in one piece of script for browsers. You don't need anything more than a text editor and a browser on any machine to write it. You're not locked into any products because they all have to communicate with each other over the net. And all the languages do all the same stuff, just with slightly different nomenclature. And we have here a class. You put a period in front of it and a letter or any name you want, and it becomes a class in CSS. So we have, when the mouse arrow is not over it, you have a white background. When you hover over it, it's a white background with the text red. And we just, this is white background. This is light green. And we're putting the red color as the hover text color. And here is solidly green. This is the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. So each are 8 bits on modern hardware, and we have 24 bits for every pixel. Are you serious? But yeah, I have the 3 background colors for the green area here. Oh. Maybe there's 4. I don't know. I don't think I used F. I'm not sure. And then H. That looks like we're low on green and high on both red and... Huh. I don't know what I use that for. Maybe not. Background blue and white. Yeah, that's the top buttons when they're selected. So this is probably the top buttons. I don't know. Let's look at it. We'll come back to that if we need to. And then H1, 20 pixel black. So this is this H1 here, there's no period in front of it, so it's not a class. It's a HTML tag for header 1, or it's like a chapter heading sometimes. It's a heading. And then table, we'll get into this a lot, but table is typically a rectangle of equally spaced things, vertical and horizontal, and I have padding 50, so it keeps it separated. And then tab down. Now it says down, but really it means right. You tab right a little bit. I don't know why it's labeled D. It's just historical reasons. I don't know what it means. But in the table, it means you're done with this column and tab to the next column to the right. I like Courier because it's the thing almost all text editors work with. Courier. It's a monospaced font. It's cool because you can use a PRE tag, and it'll pick up all the white spaces that you put in, and everything is lined up together in a grid with Courier. You might see that function has the top thing laid out. I have this thing character to give me 36, base 36 if I wanted to. No, this is only this is a little more than 32. 36, base 36 you can get away with this, but I have another character set that includes all the 0 through 9, capital A through Z, lowercase a through Z, period and a space. Isn't that wonderful? I'm working on drawing up a language that uses only those 64 characters. Yeah, lines up with 64 characters, the 6th power of 2. I can save 2 bits on every character. And overall whole program, it would be faster than ASCII. And you can encode it and send it over the web and decompress it and whatever else you need to do. 4 base 64 letters will fit into 3 bytes, which is another advantage to using 64, because everything else is 8 bytes. So you just have 3 characters in ASCII. And actually, ASCII is 2 to the 7th. There's this little known fact about it, and a number of places it got used was Wozniak had a 64 character Wozmon for the Apple I, and it used that high bit to determine if the character had been printed or not, and hold up the timing until it was ready. And this symbol shows up in the corner of that. These numbers is the base. These numbers are the function. These words are the function. And I'm keeping them to 3 characters so they'll fit above each column. I don't want this variable space thing. I've already talked about that enough. So here's my base conversions. This is crazy. Where you first determine, you have the base. You have the base. And this is this is million, 100, 10, and 1. I'm using somewhat of the Roman numeral thing going on. It's useful to know various ways of expressing numbers in programming. You'll find you use up a whole bunch of namespace just trying to figure out how it all works. But if you stick to the historical way of expressing them, it helps. So yeah, so look, we're taking this G character and finding element M, and here we have G character and finding element M. So it's yeah. So it helps to know these things. And here we have if M is equal to 0, C is equal to 0, X is equal to 0, X equals nothing. M equals 0, C equals 0, C equals nothing. If M equals 0, M equals nothing. And then you just stitch them all together with the plus. Yeah, see, this is one of my problems with the full character set of ASCII as a programming language. Because here we have double equals. That's fouled me up a number of times. Still does. I'm dyslexic and I forget where I am sometimes. But double equals means a condition. And single equals means an assignment in JavaScript. And here, plus isn't a math function because these are all strings by this time. These are all strings, and when you have a number plus a string, it ends up being a string. And to get the number back, you have to parse it with a base. Yeah, parseInt or parseFloat, and it puts it back into a number. But if you don't know that, you're going to have a hard time figuring out how to get that back. I've just played with JavaScript for so long that I know that. But early on, people are going to have trouble with just doing that. Even well-rounded programmers, unless they're familiar with JavaScript, it's going to be a problem. So this is base. Here's binary. Yeah, it's putting the binary in there. If S equals undefined or infinite. Yeah, you gotta have these in your numerical language, otherwise you're divide by 0. Divide by 0 is usually infinite or negative infinity based on the numerator. If the numerator is also 0, it's undefined. It's not positive infinity. It's not negative infinity. It's not an imaginary number. It's undefined. So this is my parse. It's not the language parse. We'll look at that later. And then calculate. Here it is going through the array and calculating it for the current base. And here divide and modulus, they take the base into account too. And here's divide. See, we're putting the base, and yeah, we're converting it with base everywhere here in divide. Same with multiply. We do my modulus to try to figure out if it's undefined or infinite. Y is 0. Divide by 0. The plague of computer programs. I don't know why it is. It's just an exception sometimes. Here's parse. We're finding the character X. Character at S. So this X here is searching through S from left to right because it's going at X. Starts at 0. Arrays start at 0, and we're getting the character at that location in S. And then we're multiplying by the base. And see, here's add equals, which basically means A equals A plus all this. That's another thing. C languages use these shortcuts for everything. For the novice, it can make it unreadable. But once you get used to it, you'll find it's pretty useful. I have my own way of doing that in the base 64 language that I'm developing. Make bases. Now see, here's tab down, which actually means go right. And it's asking for a class, and there's the F. That's the class we looked up, F. Let me scroll up to it just briefly. Here we're on make bases. Here's F. So the background is black and the color is white. And color refers to the text, not the background. Hover turns green. Come over here, and we got to what? Make base. There's the F. And we make table. Yeah, click on make table, and then we go L base I, and see this will update the whole table with the new base or the new function. So you need to make the table look at what you've entered and do the correct assignments for the rest of the table. It makes the table every time you change the base. Make binary cell. So cell comes from somewhere. We'll have to look where that make binary. Oh, it's the last thing on it's the last thing on the table. Let me show you where that is. It's down here at the bottom of the page, where it takes all of this and the current, there's the red, turns the font red. Let's see, we have it in hexadecimal, which is in the table. We also have it in binary. So that's what that function does. That's make binary. Finds the cell that you're hovering over and converts it to binary. Make columns. So this is starting a new row, actually. And we're making the individual cells. Go 0 to 15. And starts out by doing tab down, or tab right, which actually means tab down. You're going to go down a row, then you're going to go right a row. See, this is the first row in what it's doing, and there it's doing the symbol F. Make columns. Yeah. And here, this is an important thing here. Console.log. If you want to, all of this text editing in the table, it's not visible from the browser. It's coming from software. And so there's no way to see what's really running without console.log. Console.log puts it in the debugger window, and you just populate it with the strings that you're getting there, and it'll try to fit it into your. Well, let me show you that right now. Let me show you how that works. Come up here, go View, Developer Tools. See, I'm trying to debug it here. If I didn't make those console.log um, lines of code, none of this would be visible. And if we go far enough up here, yeah, see, bottom of the page, make binary. Yeah, here we're giving each cell its own number. And because it's 0 through 16, it's easily deciphered which one it is. See, it ended there. Yeah, so these are the last few lines of code before we tab down class A, tab down A, B, C. We go far enough down here, yeah. Actually, those weren't the last cells. But anyway, it's very useful to use console.log to debug your code. And I've just left it in here for demonstration purposes. Yeah, if you need to know something while it's running, use console.log. So back to our code. So yeah, it's class H, tab down, which means go right. It's backwards, but I know historically it's meant something to the language designer. It's not tab down, it's tab right. It's kind of backwards. Tab right is tab down, and tab down is tab right. Console.log. See, I put this everywhere just so I can like make sure there's something I can decode as to what's going on. And it came in useful, helped me get this working really easily. Yeah, and all of this string manipulation stuff I'm doing, it's going to go into the browser as innerHTML. There's a way to do that. You'll see it. Let me, document, get element by ID, codes, innerHTML equals S, which is this string I've been putting conjunctions in all the way down. See, it's sandwiched between an open tag and a closed tag. These need to be inside each other the right way, otherwise you're going to confuse the JIT, the just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler. Yeah. So make rows, make functions, make columns, See, we have make columns here, and we have make functions, make new. So we get the make new figured out. Make new. G functions. Yeah. See, we're putting fun in there. See, we're putting fun in B. Where's fun being assigned? Where's fun being assigned? Entire word. Make new. Yeah. Here we're putting fun and getting fun for function. Getting base. See, these are the two segments in the blue on the page. This is functions, and this is the base we're using. And if we go back to the, here's the functions, and here's the bases. And we're putting that into that S variable to go on the page as innerHTML. Now let's close this. Make functions. Let's see if we can start at the top and review, just to get it figured out again. So yeah, math tables. Here's a CSS file embedded in an HTML file. We have all our formatting that we need to do, and then that finishes style with a close tag. That's the distinguishing part of a tag is it has an open tag and a close tag. They have to be nested inside each other with the right type so that the HTML gets decoded correctly. And it'll tell you that in the developer tools probably if you goof it up. And here we have an open tag for a script. And the language we're going to use is JavaScript. And this is all in the same file. So these are my global variables. I use them everywhere. We got the base and the function. And those are in a number of different forms here in the other globals. And then we have base, and then we have binary, and then we have calculate. See if the function is one of these. This is how it distinguishes between them. Is here's the function number, and it runs it through base, which is B, the lowercase b. Do I have that as a global? I think I might. Yeah, B and F. So calculate, divide, and look at how I'm using S. I'm not using it here, but the calling function does. Yeah, see, here we return a string because we're adding, and because this is a string, these are both considered strings, and they'll just concatenate them together in that order, and they won't add. Remember that. If you're going to work with JavaScript, add can be both a function and a concatenation symbol. It's crazy, I know. And then modulus. Yes, let's figure out if we have it divide by 0, and if 0 over 0, it's undefined. If x is something other than 0 and y equals 0, it's infinite. And it could be positive or negative infinity depending on the numerator. And parse. That's my parse. There's another one, parseInt and parseFloat, that you have to use to solve that. Plus, make this into a number rather than a string. Make bases. So this is lining up the base B for the column. Yeah, goes through those numbers in G base, the global up here. The global up here. G base starts with 10, goes through all these, and it's just counting through them. Make columns. So this is inside the table, filling in cell by cell putting it in the string. The tab down actually means tab right. Make functions. So we're going through the functions, 0 through however many there are, and we're incrementing I. This is kind of backwards thinking for JavaScript, because they have a way of looking into a string or an array. It could either be a string or an array, and I think you can go I in G function without manually having a pointer go through it. And what goes into I is the actual item in function, not just a number. But I like the old way because it's a little more explicit. Here we're doing that F for function, or T. See, that's what we're doing. Is it F or is it T? If F equals I, then it's T, and that way we get the blue. We're working on it. You get the blue selected item. I think we did that for. I think we did that for make base. Yeah. See, we're doing the same thing here, F or T. And if the base equals B, then we make it highlighted. Make binary. Make columns. Make functions. Make new. Make rows. Make table. See, it's got the whole table in there. And there we're appending it to S all the way through. And then we take the document.getElementById codes. We're going to look at that shortly. .innerHTML equals S. And then I put it in the console so I can debug it, see how it works. And then window.onload function make table. So that gets the whole thing started. And if you click on anything, you got to redo the whole table. And so that's in each of the cells. Yeah, make binary, make rows. Yeah. So yeah, and then so we close the script, and we have the script closing tag. We have a closing head, and then we start a new body tag, and all it is just a line center for a division. It's got the PRE code, which puts it in, has a default of courier. We talked about that in ID codes. See that code right there? Code's right there. Is this code's right here? It's identifying the tag. It's identifying the ID with the innerHTML command that puts the string in there between the open and close tag of PRE. And then the header is the binary at the bottom of the page. And then we close the div. See, there's open div, there's close div. And we put it in the center, align center. And then PRE for the body of the table, and then the binary at the bottom, and then close body, close HTML. So let's review the top, the very top again. See, we have the program in the header. So we have this is boilerplate. They simplified this a lot since the beginning of HTML. Used to be this whole bunch of nonsense just to say it's an HTML file you're reading, and over time they shortened it and made it more simple because everybody's complaining about it. And then we have an open HTML tag, an open head tag, a meta tag that's closed on the one line, and UTF-8 is, I recommend it. I wouldn't go 16. It's a bunch of nonsense. They gotta figure some better way. It's scary what UTF-16 does. It just scared the daylights out of me with some codes. It's variable code length. It's each of the codes could be 8 or 16 bits. It's a way to get more bits and more characters, but I don't like it. So here's the title that you'll see on the tag on the top of the screen here, right here, math tables. And let me go back to the code. Yeah, so each of these open tags has a corresponding close tag that surrounds everything inside it. So here we're opening one, we're putting the content, and then we're closing it right here. Same with style. Here we open it, we tell it what type it is. Some of these don't need type because they're instrumental parts of HTML in the head or the body. And so there's a style open tag. Here's a style close tag, followed by a script open tag showing the type. So the browser knows what follows. Then down here towards the bottom, here's the window.onload function. So when the window has loaded all this code, and it's asking, what do I do next? You put that in window.onload equals function with inputs if you need them. And then we're setting it up to add. And here's the close tag of the script. Then we have close head. And then we have open body. Then we have open div. Inside div is PRE, which is basically mono-spaced font with white space included. Hardly any of the other tags will do will show the white space beyond one at a time. And so I use PRE a lot for things that have to be literal white space. If you need literal white space, you put PRE in it. PRE open tag. So div, here's the open tag. Tell it what you want. This is actually JavaScript or CSS. I think this is CSS. But div can do CSS functions, and CSS can do div functions, I think. I don't know. I haven't tried that. So it's very important that you get at least this. Every open tag has a close tag, unless it's like the meta. It has to have a corresponding close tag, or that alternate method that's on the meta. See, meta has this slant line right here. And it doesn't need a corresponding close tag if you include that. I don't know if it's only meta or... I think there's BR. I think BR, which is a carriage return in terms of white space. And they have a tag for that. And I use it a lot, just not here. That's the BR tag. Carriage return and line feed, I guess. Yeah. In the old days, we had things printed out to paper, and they needed characters in binary to tell the automatic typewriter what to do next. And everything that came after ASCII had to cater to the same backwards compatible ASCII, otherwise nothing would work. And so there's a big problem with these legacy things like Control C, which is break, and line feed, and even DOS on Windows on top of DOS has the same vulnerabilities, but they've mapped them out as best they can. So I could end up with another 0-day vulnerability simply because of historical reasons. So this is the code that I've written to make my spreadsheet in JavaScript. Hope this helps you a lot. I see a lot of beginner stuff online in terms of JavaScript. This is more advanced than I've seen anybody demonstrate. But I'm a teacher, not a not a coder specifically. Actually, I'm a good coder, but I want to teach, and I never got my degree. But this is something I'm good at. Hope this helps.